Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. Today I have a little something from the man, the myth, the Giga Chad himself, Zippy Prysma. A lot of you, when I talked about my SlifT, you can probably already see what I did in my SlifT. A lot of you told me, hey, you want the blade to weigh more, but you don't really want like the distribution of the Prysma blade to change, you should get some Zippy inserts. And initially, I'm going to be completely honest, I was like, that's not a great idea because they're not going to add that much weight. They're not weighted inserts. But I found out that Zippy's inserts actually increase the weight of the blade, the Prysma blade, by, almost zero point 0.1 ounce. I believe the actual weight is like 0.078 or something like that, ounces. But it almost gets it to the point where it would weigh as much as something like the Prysma Live Blade. So I said, you know what? I'll try it. And then Zippy was a Chad, and with my purchase included some bite handle indicators, which I'm not going to add this because this thing weighs like 0.024 ounces or something crazy. So it's going to actually affect the balance. But this, man, I have to admit, Zippy, I doubted you a little bit with the Prysma inserts. I didn't think the Prysma would really need something like that, but this makes the blade just weigh a little bit more without really changing its overall balance profile, and I really, really like it. It doesn't necessarily put the SlifT... Actually, who am I kidding? I think it does. I think this solidifies the SlifT as my favorite trainer over something like the Superfly, because now it has a very similar balance to the Superfly, but it carries a little bit more momentum. It's a bit more rear weighted, or not end. Yeah, no, end weighted. I'm dumb. I'm thinking of outer weighted, which the SlifT is, in my opinion, outer weighted. You got tip weight and you got end weight. But it has more end weight than something like the Superfly does. And while the Superfly is still phenomenal, and I still recommend it very highly, this just feels amazing. You get that little bit of extra blade weight that makes fans feel better, but it still has the amazing rollover chaplain capacity that the SlifT originally had. And it just feels incredible. I really, really like it. It's a very subtle change. So I don't really think if you're someone who doesn't like the SlifT, this is going to change your mind. They're not weighted by any means. So like, you're not going to completely like, oh my God, I love this SlifT now. I already really like the SlifT. Now I like it even more because it's just that much closer to my overall preference. And in fact, I would say, considering how long it's been... Are you okay over here, laptop? Considering how long it's been since I've tried the Prysma V2, which is the 6061 version of the Prysma Pro. Remember, different aluminum, slightly lighter handles, really neutral, blah, blah, blah. I think this is probably the closest thing to my actual preference point that I have flipped in a long time. I still, to memory, I think the Prysma V2 is like a bit closer to my preference, but again, it's been a little while since I've tried one. This could be very, very similar. So, man, do I like it. If you're interested in figuring out what my preference is, which, if you don't know what my preference is, I like blade weight, but like, not blade bias. I want my blade to have some tip weight so that fans feel good, but I don't want so much blade weight that it allows your chaplains to be not sticky or anything like that. So the SlifT has really, really sticky chaplains, just as much as you would need, while also fanning incredibly well. And that comes down to the tip weight of the Prysma blade. It's a tip-based distribution, and then the SlifT has a lot of weight at the end of the handles. It doesn't look like it does, but you can really feel it once you start to flip it, especially if you have the pivot weights in, but I prefer it without them because it still carries enough momentum. So give me tip weight, give me enough end weight to carry momentum, and make it feel as neutral as you can. What I really hate is when the balisong is all shaky. Some balisongs, you fan them, and it will just shake back and forth because it's just the weight is constantly being thrown back and forth between the handles. I was going to pick up the Kraken as an example of that, but that feels really good to fan. So does this. Shoot. But maybe you get what I mean, maybe you don't. I mean, the Arctic's a good example. Like, when you fan it, it's very shaky. There's a lot of weight being thrown back and forth. That doesn't really happen with this as much anymore. The SlifT definitely did have some shake to it. And it was more handle bias than I always really preferred, despite it being my favorite live blade. Like, I've always maintained it's not my favorite flipping live blade, but it's my favorite overall package. And now, even though this isn't a live blade, this trainer just, it flips so good, man. It's light, agile, fast, and it has enough blade weight to make fans feel really, really good. Not to say they didn't feel good before, but now they just feel ever so slightly better. So I think I can confidently say, Zippy, that you have turned the SlifT from my favorite ballast song to my favorite ballast song, but closer to my preferences. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I got the blue because there's like a very slight blue ano on the outside of this thing that you can't really see unless it's in sunlight. So I think it's going to look a lot better when it is in sunlight. I also realized after I got it, I'm glad that I got blue because my Prysma Pro is blue. So I was thinking about maybe purple for this, since, you know, purple is at the beginning and it would go up the blade. But then it wouldn't look good with the Prysma Pro when I put it back on. So I'm glad I got the blue. It looks good. But it feels even better. I have been flipping the SlifT trainer daily, nonstop, since I blade swapped it late last month. So yeah, it's really cool. And I think you guys are going to really like, hopefully, what I've been working on with it. Can't really show anything off in blade bias because the whole point is to flip while talking. So I can't really do anything too crazy. But I've been working, I've been cooking, and you guys will get to see the fruits of that hopefully sometime next month. But that's pretty much it. I've been yapping on for too long. Go check out Zippy's stuff. I paid for the inserts myself, and Zippy, you know, he hasn't paid me or anything like that. He's just a super sick guy that makes super sick mods for ballast songs that can help your favorite ballast song become your favorite ballast song. There's a tagline for you, Zippy. Help your favorite ballast song become your favorite ballast song. I do accept royalties. Just, you know, hit me up on Instagram. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.